Okay, good morning everyone. So, weather's changed here. Wednesday it was beautiful. I was out and it was quite warm out in shorts and a t-shirt, and then Thursday it dropped by like 20 degrees. So, it's getting that fall weather, that autumn coolness coming in. So the big news is the election, as you know. So let's hope that the democratic process is allowed to continue, and that the person that believes in that process is the winner of the election. Looking good so far. Unless it's a peaceful transition, of course. So today, I was thinking we would maybe focus a little bit on hips, and I might get us to work our way into crow. We haven't done that for a while. Maybe even I'll show you flying pigeon. It's similar to crow because it's a hand balance, but it's a little bit more challenging. But even if you can't try it, you can work your way to it, and when you're working your way to it, you're getting some nice hip openers. Little bit of breathing to begin with. Alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana. It's a calming breath, which we all need at the moment, and usually we take the right hand. I don't know why it's the right hand, but usually we take the right hand, and I like to curl in the index finger and the middle finger. So I'm going to place my thumb on my right nostril and my ring finger on my left nostril. And when you close the nostril, you want to close it gently. Try not to bend the nose. But we're going to start off, what we'll do, we'll breathe in through one side for maybe a count of 4, and then out through the other side for a count of 4, and then we just alternate. And we'll do a few rounds of that, and then maybe a couple of regular breaths, and then repeat. So try closing the right nostril with the thumb. Inhale through the left side for 4. Close the left nostril, exhale through the right side. Close the right nostril, exhale left. Inhale left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Inhale left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. And we'll just take a few regular breaths. So bring both hands down. So the idea is we switch from one side to the other side at the top of the inhale. I think I got it wrong right at the beginning of that, but we're supposed to do one inhale, one exhale before we switch. Let's do another round. Thumb on the right nostril, inhale left side, exhale right. Inhale right, exhale left. Inhale left, exhale right. Inhale right, exhale left. And bring both hands down. Take a couple of breaths. So the idea is we're trying to bring balance to the breath sometimes it's easier to breathe on one side of the nose than the other side, so we're trying to bring that balance. And as you bring balance to the breathing, you bring balance to the brain, so they say the logical side and the creative sides of the brain. One more round. So I'm on the right nostril, inhale left, exhale right. Inhale right, exhale left. Inhale left, exhale right. Inhale right, exhale left. One more. Inhale left, exhale right. Regular breathing. They also say this kind of breathing is calming. So, if you have a problem sleeping, maybe try this kind of breathing before you go to bed. They say it can help with insomnia, so maybe it would work for you. Let's just work on the shoulders a little bit. Just trying to release a little bit of tension there. So I like to work on one shoulder at a time. So I'm bringing the right shoulder forward, up, back and down. And then I'm working on the other shoulder. And then maybe up and down together. Basically we're just doing anything that feels good, just trying to loosen up a little bit there. And then interlace the fingers, extend the arms forward, shoulders back, sit tall, and start bringing the arms up towards the ceiling. So eventually we're going to frame the face with the arms, but don't force it, keep the shoulders happy. But eventually arms are either side of the ears, we're breathing, we're reaching up towards the ceiling, we're getting taller and taller. Take a couple of deep breaths, breathe as best you can. And we're going to keep the fingers interlaced as we bring the arms down, and we're going to turn the palms up to the ceiling. Shoulders relaxed. Elbows in, so you don't want the elbows up, the shoulders up. You're trying to bring those shoulders down. We're just stretching the fingers out. And then we're going to clasp the thumb and rest the wrist down, little finger side down, but the wrists are on the knees, and we're just going to turn the knuckles towards the ground. So we're stretching out the left side of the wrist. And then we're just going to place the inside of the wrist on the knees, and we're just going to turn the knuckles down and then bring them back up again. So it's this kind of action. So we're just clasping the thumb, and we're just working on the wrist a bit. This is supposedly good. If you like, you can bring the arms either side of you. This is supposed to be good if you've got tendinitis in the wrists. It's supposed to be good for the hands. This was when I had wrist problems, when I used to do a lot of computer work. This is one of the exercises that was on one of the sheets from the doctor, from the physical therapist. And then just shake those hands out. Get those hands nice and loose. There we go. Okay, extend the right arm forward, shoulder back. And we're going to pull that arm in. So you're pulling above the elbow. Inhale, getting tall. Exhale, you're pulling the arm in a little bit closer. Like all stretches, we go easy and we gradually go deeper with the breath. Try and relax that shoulder. If you feel any tension, just back off slightly. Try and get everything to relax, and then start pulling that arm in a little closer. What I find, what I think, is that people hold a lot of tension and they don't let themselves relax. So we're trying to use just the muscles we need to keep that arm up, and then we use the other arm to pull it in. Then I can feel a little bit of tension in my shoulder and my upper arm, so I'm trying to relax there a little bit. And then I'm starting to pull that arm in on an exhale. I relax a little bit more. Exhale. I pull that arm in. So what another technique is, you could, as you exhale, you could just ease off the stretch slightly and then increase it a little bit with the breath. Actually, you release it slightly on the inhale, sorry. Exhale, you go deeper into the stretch. So inhale, we just try and relax a little bit. We're still keeping length in the spine. Exhale, we go a little deeper into that stretch. And I do that a lot, in particular when I'm stretching out hamstrings. So let's come onto our hands and knees. We'll do cat-cow a few times. So we've got the wrists under the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips, plenty of space between the fingers. Inhale, belly down, head up. Exhale as you start rounding the back, tucking the chin. Inhaling into cow, exhaling into cat. We're moving slowly. We're moving with the breath. This is a great way to warm the spine up. I usually do this every time before I do my yoga practice. And another thing I'll do is, let's do this now. Another thing I'll do is I'll try and stretch out the lower back by coming into child's pose and then just walking the hands over to one side. So I'm in child's pose, but just walking the hands over, trying to get a stretch, lower back on one side. Head down, head supported. Breathe. And then walking over to the other side, stretching out the other side of the back. Similar stretch to that, but adding a twist. If you're on your hands and knees, you could do thread the needle. So we're taking the right arm, it's like you're threading it behind the left arm, and you're resting on the right arm, the right side of the face. So again, you're getting that stretch in the back, but adding a little bit of a twist. So the more you reach for that bottom arm, the more you push that left hand into the ground, the more you're going to feel that stretch. It should feel good. And then what some people like to do is they bring that arm up behind the back, reaching for the inside of the opposite thigh. You might get there, you might not. But you can open up the chest a little bit more that way. And then we switch to the other side. Onto your hands and knees. You're threading the left arm behind the right arm. You're on the left arm, left side of the face. Pushing the right hand into the ground. And if you want, right arm up, reaching to the inside of that opposite thigh. And then we come out. So we're going to come onto our backs. So we did the cat-cow, and I think we might have done this last week, where I call it a mini cat-cow. So you're on your back, feet are in. You're going to keep the tailbone on the ground, and as you inhale, you push the lower back into the ground as much as you can, and you're engaging that core. And on the exhale, the lower back is coming off the ground, not the hips. We're not coming into bridge yet. So the tailbone is pushed in, but there's a gap. You can slide your hand underneath the lower back. Inhale, lower back pushed to the ground. Exhale, lower back comes up. So we just repeat that a few times. Inhaling, as you engage the core, you push the back down. Exhale, lower back comes up. On the next inhale, you push the lower back down, and then this time we're going to bring those hips up. This time we're going to come into bridge. We're going to keep the gaze towards the ceiling. Don't gaze to the side. Interlace the fingers, walk the shoulders in nice and close. Might take a couple of goes, walk the shoulders in again. Push the arms, the hands into the ground, push the feet into the ground. Keep the legs parallel, opening the chest, opening the front of the hips. Breathe. Nice chest opener. If you do a lot of computer work, this is really good. If you're a cyclist, this is good. And then we slowly come down, we release the arms, we bring the knees in and we rock from side to side. So we're just going to do a little bit of a hip opener while we're here. Right foot to the ground, left foot, add a left foot onto that right leg. So we're making that figure 4 where you take hold of that back of that right leg, you're pulling the leg in, tailbone down again. And maybe rock from side to side. Using quite a lot of arm strength, you're getting a stretch on the outside of that left hip. And then we're going to switch. So this is basically reclined pigeon. So I want you to think about this. I want you to visualize this pose. And imagine we're going to do this pose. See my left foot? We're going to do this pose when we're standing. So imagine that left foot is on the ground. That would be standing pigeon. And from standing pigeon, you can transition into flying pigeon. I'll show you, at least show you that later on. Back of the legs. Hold on to the back of the legs. Rock yourself back and forth a few times. And then slowly come up to a standing position. Half salute. Inhale, sweeping those arms up. Look up. Exhale as you fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding forward again. Inhale, we come all the way up, reaching up towards the ceiling. Exhale, mountain. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Head relaxed. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward again. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, mountain. So I'm keeping my legs straight. You don't have to if it bothers the back. Bend the knees, keep the back happy. Inhale, arms come up. You're looking up, palms together. Exhale, you're hinging forward, looking forward. And as you go all the way down, then you tuck the chin. Then you come halfway up. We fold forward again. And then the breath and the core brings us up. And we come into mountain. Inhale, reach those arms up. Get tall. Exhale, folding forward and down. Feel that hamstring stretch. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, mountain. But keep the back happy. There should be no pain in the back whatsoever. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward, head relaxed. Inhale, we come all the way up. This time we're going to keep the fingers interlaced. So I've got my fingers interlaced, but my index finger is pointed towards the ceiling. I'm getting tall. And then I'm going to take a side stretch. Feeling a stretch in the side ribs and the hip. You want to imagine you're between two panes of glass so that one shoulder is not more forward than the other shoulder. What we're trying to do is get the side body here. Maybe you can go a little deeper. And a little deeper. I'm shifting those hips over and I'm trying to go deeper with the breath. Inhale, up slowly, reach up. Exhale over to the other side. And we gradually go a little deeper. And again, I'm going deeper with the exhale. Inhale, we come all the way up. We're going to keep reaching the arms up towards the ceiling. And we're going to take a backward bend. So I'm starting to engage the glutes. I'm shifting the hips forward. I'm trying to keep the arms either side of the ears. Goes back as far as feels good for the back. And then we inhale, coming back up. We fold all the way forward. We take the feet apart. So there's maybe 3 or 4 inches between the feet. I'm going to grab hold of the big toes. I'm bending the knees. I'm going to rest the belly on the legs. Head is totally relaxed. Contact between the belly and the legs. And then if it feels good, you can start to straighten the legs a little bit more, if that's okay for you. And then we slowly come all the way up. And we're back in mountain. So the psoas muscle is the one muscle that connects the spine to the hip. So it's a really important muscle, and if that muscle is too tight, it creates a lot of tension for the body. Best way to stretch that out, I believe, is with a lunge. So we're going to do a few lunges here. So let's start off in chair. So bend the knees. Inhale those arms up. We're in chair. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we're going to plant the hands. We're in plank. Knees down, chin chest forward and down. Inhaling into cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up to the ceiling, extended down dog. Exhale, we're going to come into that low lunge. We did a few lunges last week, and you can feel it stretching out the front of that back hip. So what we're going to do, we're going to go up and down into high lunge, low lunge. I'm just going to keep my hands on that front knee, and I'm just trying to bring that back knee off the ground, and then slowly lower it. Go slow. Come back up, and then slowly go down. Come back up, and then slowly down. The slower you go, the more you're going to have to work, so keep it controlled. And I'm not trying to bring that hip, so it's not like I'm bringing that right hip up, it's not like I'm coming up like this. Basically what I'm trying to do is just pull that back knee off the ground, and then slowly come down. Bring the hands either side of that front foot, come back into plank. Chaturanga or knees, chin, chest to ground. Inhaling into cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath or two. We bring the left leg up to the ceiling, extended down dog, and we sweep that foot through, back knee down. Back into that low lunge. And then we're going to keep the foot up of that back leg, toes tucked, and we're just going to bring that knee up and then slowly lower. Knee up and slowly lower. Looks easy, but this is actually quite hard work, especially if you go slow. Really go slow as you go lower. Keep that knee safe. Feel that stretch. So I'm going to get a good stretch to the front of that back leg. And then we're going to come back into plank, and we're going to hold plank. So plank, you're trying to keep the hips neutral. You don't want them too low. It puts pressure on the back. If they're too high, it makes this a little bit easy. What we're going to do a little bit different, we're going to tuck the chin, and we're just going to try and lower between the shoulder blades. Normally I tell you not to do that, but this is going to open the shoulders a little bit, and then we come back up. So we lower between the shoulder blades, and we come back up. One more time. Lower between the shoulder blades. So I'm keeping the arms pretty straight, and then we come back up, and then child's pose. So come out of child's pose. So just sit on the heels. So the crow pose, and you know, I've done crows several times with you guys. A lot of weight on the wrists, so we're going to stretch the wrists out. I always do that. I have very tight wrists, as you know. So I'm turning the hands around, so the fingers are pointing towards my feet. My little fingers are touching, space between the fingers. And if your hips are higher than your heels, it relieves the pressure on the wrists. If you bring the hips lower, you get more of a stretch in the wrists. For me, this is a good stretch. For you, maybe if you're super flexible, you don't feel much here, but for me, I have to do this. I'm feeling it in the wrist. I'm feeling it in the forearm, on the inside of the arm here. And then what I like to do is to stretch the fingers out. This is good to do. So we're just bringing the heel of the hand off the mat, and you're just stretching the fingers out. Now this doesn't stretch the thumb out, so just so the thumb doesn't feel left out, I'm just going to stretch it like this. So I'm using the palm of the right hand pushed into my thumb, just to get a little bit of extra stretch there. And then I'm going to stretch out the other thumb. And then we shake out the hands. So the crow, a lot of core work, and there's a lot of it is mental. A lot of people feel that they're just going to fall down and crash, land on their heads, which yeah, it could happen, but you're not too far off the ground. I don't think it's going to be fatal. Just joking there. No, you're going to be fine. Just do it controlled. Never kick yourself up. Don't bring too much weight forward, but you've got to bring enough weight forward so you feel that balance, and then you can just get yourself lifted up. So if you've never done a crow, here's how I get into crow. I'm coming into a wide squat. My feet are pointing out. I'm going to push my arms into my legs a lot. And that, if you look at my back, it's rounded, right? But then I can open up. So this is just opening up the hips. Now when we go into crow, however, the back will be rounded. So I'm pushing the arms into the legs. I'm trying to get the arms pretty high up. I'll then come onto my toes. So there's probably about 3 inches between my toes and the inside of my wrist. And I'm looking up. What you should do all the time is look forward all the time. Do not tuck the chin. So keep looking forward. As you bring your more weight onto the arms, you let one foot float up, and then you let the other foot come up. Then you bring the big toes together, and you try and straighten the arms a little bit more. And you're breathing. Just try, if you can't get into crow, just try bringing one foot up and down, and then the other foot comes up and down. What happens a lot in crow is people, they're afraid of bringing the weight forward. And if you don't bring the weight forward, you're never going to get up. So what happens is people will get into the position like this, and then they try and just kick themselves up. It's never going to happen. You've got to get that weight forward. You see how far my hips are back? So you've got to get those hips almost over the elbows. So you're bringing those hips forward, and before, it's almost, I feel I'm going to come all the way down. That's that light spot. That's when you can bring the feet up. That's when you can balance. You're breathing, and you come all the way down. So you've got to find that light spot, and you just float up. Once you get it, it's, you know, people always use this analogy like it's like riding a bike. Once you get it, it's so easy. You think, well, why did I never get it before? But it's, the body learns. So my hands are pretty wide apart. My little fingers are almost touching the outer edge of the mat. I'm high up on my toes. I'm trying to get the knees pretty high up the arms. I'm looking forward. I'm trying to bring my weight forward. One foot can come up. You don't have to take both feet up together. You bring the second foot up, looking forward all the time. Don't tap the chin, whatever you do. Toes together, squeeze the arms. You're breathing. And then you come all the way down. And you take a bit of a breath. It's a challenging pose. You know, it's not only the balance. You need some upper body strength as well, but it's going to build that upper body strength. It's like that chicken and the egg. You need the upper body strength to do crow. So how do you get that upper body strength? Well, you do crow. So it's that catch-22 kind of thing. Okay, I'm out of breath here. Let's do a few back bends. So a lot of times it's just the way my body feels what it needs to do, and it just feels like now I've done that crow with your back is rounded. So after that, I think back bends are good. So I'm bringing my hands, fingers are pointed towards the toes. They're quite sort of almost in line with the toes. My chin is tucked. I'm going to really open that chest a lot. Then carefully let the head go back if your neck is good. And if you want, you can bring those hips up. Breathe. Maybe emphasize it, bring the hips up a little bit higher. You know, you can straighten the arms, or you can keep a little bend in the elbows. Let that head relax. You're squeezing the shoulder blades together. That creates a little shelf for the head. And then sit bones down. And we come into child's pose. So let's come back up. Let's do a little bit more hip opening. Let's come into Bakasana. So some of you might want to be sitting on the block. If your back is rounded, your knees are up. So if you like this kind of thing, knees are up, back is rounded, you could sit on something to get the back more neutral. But the idea is Bakasana, most of you know this, is diamond shaped with the legs. We're grabbing hold of the feet, and then I gradually rock from side to side. My heels are getting in a little bit closer. A lot of arm work. I'm pulling those hips forward, trying to get the back neutral, and then I'm just letting those knees come to the ground. This is going to stretch out the inside of the hips. Let's take a few breaths here. Inhale, getting tall. Exhale, just letting those hips open. Inhale, tall. Exhale, those hips open. I was going to say lips, but I meant hips. Okay, another nice hip opener before we do standing pigeon is happy baby. So happy baby, we're on our backs, the knees are in close, and I'm holding onto the feet. Knees are bent, so the legs are pretty wide apart, and I'm pulling those legs down. I'm using quite a lot of arm strength. I'm trying to get the tailbone towards the ground. I'm trying to get a little bit of space underneath the lower back. It's not happening, but that's the intent. If you do the action to make that happen, that's all I'm asking you to do. Then we stretch out the inside of the legs. You can keep hold of the feet, the outside of the feet, or maybe hold onto the big toes. So my first two fingers thumb around the big toe, and I'm just going to extend the legs into a V position. Maybe you've got the knees bent, maybe not. Eventually we're trying to get the legs straight. We're bringing the tailbone towards the ground. You're pulling the shoulders away from the ears. I feel the stretch mainly down the inside of the legs on this one. And then we take hold of the back of the legs. We lift the head up. and we rock ourselves into boat Navasana, more core work. So we're trying to keep the back neutral. You can keep hold of the legs, arms either side of you if you prefer, or legs straight if you really want the challenge here. And then I'm trying to get those knees pointed towards the ceiling. Breathe. And then we're going to slowly lower so that you're about maybe 3 or 4 inches with the heels, feet off the ground. The head is off the ground, supported with the hands. And we're pushing that lower back into the ground. Abs of steel for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we come all the way down. And we just relax. Walk the feet in. Pull the knees in. Rock yourselves into boat. Maybe straighten the legs. Come into this scooping position. Legs off the ground. Hands supporting the head. Lower back pushed into the ground. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we come all the way down. And we relax. Walk the feet in. Knees pulled in. Rock from side to side. Take hold of the back of the legs. Rock yourself up. Okay, we're not going to do that boat and that core work again today, so you'll be pleased to know. Okay, flying pigeon. So, beginning of the class, we did recline pigeon, right? This pose. And I said, so I'm pulling in on my right leg. So if we're doing this standing, if we're on the right foot, we're in standing pigeon. I'm going to take a block. So if you have a block, get the block handy. You don't necessarily need the block, but if you have it, it might be useful. Same pose that we did lying down on our backs, we're going to do standing. So I'm going to be on my left leg. We've done this before, but this time we're going to fly. I'm bringing my outer right ankle onto my left leg. My left knee is bent. I'm just going to rest my hands on that top leg, and I'm getting a stretch on the outside of that right hip. Now the block is there if you want to go a little deeper. We're going to do this both sides, and then we'll repeat it, and I'll show you how I get into flying pigeon. If you want to go even deeper, you can lower the block. The block has 3 heights, or you can bring the fingertips to the ground. The lower you go, the more you're going to have to bend that knee of the standing leg. Maybe you can even get contact between the ribs and that top leg. If you can do that, then there's the potential to get into flying pigeon. Other side. I'm on my right foot. Left foot is on top of that right leg. You can start off hands on the leg. This top foot flexed, not pointed. You're pulling dorsiflexion. Block is there if you want to go lower. The knee of the standing leg is bent. The lower you go, the more you're going to feel that hip stretch. So you can lower the block, you can even bring your fingertips to the ground. And then we release. So the flying pigeon, we start off just like we did before. What I'll do is I'll do 2 views. I'll do the front view, then I'll do the side view. So we start off just like we did in the standing pigeon. I've got my right leg on top of my left leg, and this top foot is dorsiflexion. So the idea is you want to try and get the upper left arm inside that right foot, the upper right arm low, just below the knee. You've got to work at that. So I'm leaning over to my right, I'm pushing, it's almost like the armpit is pushed into the leg, and then I'm pushing the other arm onto the inside of the foot. I then walk the hands forward, and then I wiggle that foot back, and it's just like crow, because we're bringing the weight forward. Now, but this time, my right foot is grabbing my left arm, just like an extra hand, and then I let that back foot float off the ground. And if you can grab that arm, maybe you can extend the leg. I wasn't quite able to do that because my foot started to slide down the arm that time. But you get the idea. Let's try on the other side, and then I'll do the side view for you. So this time I'm bringing my outer left foot onto my right leg. I want to try and get contact between the ribs and that top leg, and I'm pushing that left arm into the leg, right arm as high up as that right arm as I can. I'm grabbing that right arm with my toes of my left foot. I'm leaning forward, finding that light spot. Right foot is floating off the ground, and then I'm going to try and straighten that leg. I've got it on this side, flying pigeon, and then I'm coming out. Challenging pose. If you can't do the flying, that's fine, just do standing pigeon, or you could do the reclined pigeon if you prefer. Side view. I'm on my right foot. Is this the way I did it last time? No, I'm on my left foot. I want to alternate. Left foot, dorsiflexion, fingertips to the ground. So if you can get your fingertips to the ground, and if you've got the ribs on that top leg, maybe you can do flying pigeon. It's a challenge. So I'm bringing my left arm onto the inside of that right foot, and then I'm pushing the upper right arm into the top of my right shin. I'm looking forward, bringing the weight forward, and I'm grabbing that arm like crazy with my toes, and I'm letting that other leg come up, flying, and then I'm coming out. Phew, a lot of work. Other side. Spending a lot of time on this, right? So I've got my outer left ankle on my right leg, right knee is bent. I'm resting on that top leg. I'm pushing the arms into that top leg, inside of the foot, grabbing that right arm with my toes, leaning forward, finding that balance spot, letting that right foot float off the ground, and then I'm going to try and straighten the leg, breathe, and then I'm coming out. And that's flying pigeon. It's a really challenging pose. So I was in a workshop, this is a few years ago, and it was mainly a workshop for yoga teachers, and only a few of the teachers could do that pose. So if you can't do it, no worries. If you can do it, sort of, just be proud of yourself. It's good to try these poses. I think it's a lot of people say, well, why do we do poses like this? Is when you're trying something that's a little bit scary because you feel like maybe you're going to fall on your head or something. You're totally focused. You're totally in that moment, and that's what we want to be in yoga. We want to be totally present. And poses like crow, flying pigeon, any of the hand balances, 8-angle pose, handstands even. Forearm balances. If we're at a regular class, sometimes I might do a handstand against the wall or a forearm inversion, Pinchmarasana, which are fun poses. I love inversions. Okay, enough rambling. Since we've done all that hip opening, let's do pigeon. We can all do pigeon. It's a similar hip opening, but you know, I'm in the mood for that. So come onto your hands and knees, and then come into downward facing dog. Hold down dog for 3 or 4 breaths. Pushing the thumb, index finger into the ground, armpits towards the ground, chin is tucked, back is neutral. Keep the back neutral. If you can get the heels to the ground, that's fine, but you don't have to. The back neutral is more important than that. And then we bring the right leg up to the ceiling, extended down dog, and we come into pigeon. We're going to bring that right knee forward. And the knee, for me, the knee's outside the hip, but for you, if the knee is more centered, to keep the groin safe, that's fine. Next thing, I'll tuck the toes of my back foot and I'll grab the mat, grab the floor, just walk that foot back. Keep the hips equidistant to the ground, as you know. So this is a bit of a back bending when you're in raised pigeon. When you come down, it's more of a rounded back. Let's come down extended pigeon and we can relax here. Make sure the head is supported. We're just going to let gravity do all the work, and we're just going to hang out here for maybe half a minute. Just totally relax. If it does bother the knee, keep that right foot pulled in close to the left hip. If it still bothers the knee, come out of the pose. Don't let it hurt the knee. You can do another hip opener, reclined pigeon, or happy baby, or whatever. Just keep that knee happy. So we can just relax here, gravity's doing all the work. And this is one of those poses you can hold for a long time. You know, you don't have to really work at it much. And you're getting the benefit. You're feeling the opening of that hip, which is good for us. We all have tight hips, generally tightnesses in the hips and the shoulders. Tuck the toes of the back foot. We're back in raised pigeon. We're tucking the toes of the back foot. We're going to come into downward facing dog, walk the dog, paddle our legs. And then other side, we lift up the left leg, extend it, down dog, and pigeon, bringing that left knee forward. Position the knee outside the hip or in slightly more centered if you've got any groin issues. Opposite foot close to the right hip. If you do want a deeper hip stretch and your knee is okay with it, you can have that shin more parallel to the edge of the mat that's in front of you. You can get into a deeper hip stretch that way, but I like to keep the foot in close. My knees are not as young as they used to be, so I have to sort of look after them. I'm tucking the toes of the back foot. I'm grabbing the ground, walking that leg back. I'm keeping the hips nice and even. Try not to lean over from one side to the other side. If your left hip is off the ground a lot, you can slide a little block or a book underneath it, if that's more comfortable. Extended pigeon, we're bringing the head towards the ground and we're relaxing. We're just letting gravity do all the work here, just letting that hip open. It should be a very comfortable pose, and as I say, if it does bother the knee, just try and reposition that leg or come out of the pose. So I never time these exactly right. So hopefully we've held this just as long as the other side, but things will even out in the end, right? Okay, so instead of coming into down dog this time, what we're going to do, we're going to come into a seated twist. So come back into raised pigeon, and if your left knee is forward, you're going to lean over to the left, and you're going to swing that back foot round, and it can be inside or outside the knee, and we're going to take the arm hugging the leg, or we bring the arm outside the knee, and we come into that twist. Inhale, getting taller, exhale into that twist. Inhale, we unwind, and we're just going to switch legs. If you want to go through 360, you can. I'm just going to do it the easy way. Reposition the leg so I can twist in the other direction, hugging the knee. Don't forget this left foot solidly on the ground. I try and get tall, maybe bring the arm outside the leg, getting that back neutral, coming into that twist. Inhale, we unwind. And we're just going to come onto our backs. I'm going to... the sun's not in my eyes today, which is good. Onto your back, pull the knees in, and we're just rocking from side to side. Full body stretch. Bring the arms over the head, try to get as much length as you can. Take a little bit of a side stretch. And then stretch out the other side of the body. And then even out, and come into Shavasana. You bring in the actually let's do Supta Baddha Konasana. Come onto your back and just walk the feet in and bring the soles of the feet together. We did seated Baddha Konasana. This is reclined Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly. Eyes are closed, and I like to rest my hands on my legs. You don't have to, and it's not like I'm forcing the legs down, but I'm just sort of encouraging the legs down, encouraging the hips to open a little bit more. And just imagine you breathing into those hips, letting that tension melt away. And just check out, make sure there's no tension anywhere else. Sometimes we hold tension in the face or the shoulders. Just let everything relax there. If you want to hold Supta Baddha Konasana for longer, that's fine. If you want to transition to Shavasana, you straighten the legs. You bring the arms either side of your palms up, and just let yourself sink into the ground. Again, eyes are closed. Start taking deeper breaths. Stay in Shavasana if you want. If you're ready to come out, walk the feet in. Keep the eyes closed, rolling over to one side. Take a breath or two. And then gently push yourself up into a seated position. Inhale, bringing the arms up, palms together. Exhale as the arms come down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep the palms together. Let's take 3 ohms. Inhaling. Hands to the forehead. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great weekend. And election's nearly done. We should know something today, surely, or soon. Okay, take care. I'll see you next week. Okay, bye, guys. Biden won.